Did you know that ChatGPT's just dropped Model 03? And this means that we've got this most amazing image search capability available to us now. Now, it might seem like an odd thing to be talking about, but image search is a really important thing just for trying to find out about images. So let's have a look at what we got in this package. I've dropped a picture in here and I've asked which beach is this. And ChatGPT's gone through and it's actually zoomed in. If you look at the real size of this photo, it's very tiny. And it's zoomed in, and then it's zoomed in a bit further. And then it's gone right in, and you can see here, it's zoomed right in on the lifeguard tower. So this is some real CSI type stuff you're seeing here. And then it's looked at the buildings until it's decided that after 43 seconds, which really isn't much time at all, it says, looking at the shoreline of Surfers Paradise on Queensland's Gold Coast, which is exactly what the picture is. Now, I thought that's pretty amazing. It is a common image. People do recognize the Gold Coast pretty easily. So let's see what else can do. I downloaded this picture, which is an island. As you can tell, it's surrounded by sea. There's not much you can tell from it. And I asked it, where is this island, please? And straight away, Blue Horizons wait. It's Rottnest Island in the Indian Ocean, about 19 kilometres from Fremantle, a port city in Western Australia. So how's that? From an aerial photo, in less than 4 seconds, it told me what island I was looking at. That's pretty cool. So I decided to find something a little bit more ambiguous, and I found this picture of a truck driving down a dirt road. Now, I knew where this picture was because I'd read the description on the picture. But what I actually did was I dropped it into a tool that removes all the EXIF data. And the EXIF data is the data that gets added to your photos that can tell the web or anyone who's looking where the photo was taken, what shutter settings, what camera, all sorts of different information depending on what camera you use. So I stripped all that data off it so that it couldn't cheat. It could only look at the picture. It dug down through the picture and it thought for 5 seconds and it zoomed in on the signs. And it came back after 26 seconds and it said that dusty stretch matches the Birdsville track, which is in outback Queensland. So spot on, exactly what it is. By now I'm starting to get pretty impressed by this software. I got a picture of some mountains with a lake at the base, and it very quickly told me, of course, that this is Queenstown in New Zealand, and it's the Remarkables. Then I went, that was pretty well a giveaway. Anybody who's been to Queenstown will know it, and there is a lot of images that online. So what if I take an image of a yard and I put that up? And here's an image of a yard that I took, and I thought this one's pretty ambiguous, so there's not a lot of detail here for it to work on. And I said, where is this? And it came back and said, subtropical acreage in southeast Queensland, Gold Coast around Mudgera, Barbonogan. It's clearly a private property rather than a recognisable landmark, which I thought, that's true. But the fact that it picked up Gold Coast hinterland and Mudgera Bar made me suspect, because I realised the early photo, and one that I didn't show you but I already put there, had come from. So I actually asked it, I said, did you guess that because of the previous images? And it actually admitted to that. It said when the shot showed up, my brain jumped straight to the Gold Coast hinterland theme that we'd been on. In short, the ongoing context and those visual cues teamed up to steer the guess. So it's not stupid, and it can tell if you're running on patterns. So yes, I had jumped around on the previous images, but I had been playing in the southeast of the world, in New Zealand and Australia. So I decided it's time to get a little bit more challenging. Where is this photo? And I chose this photo particularly because I took it and I knew exactly where it was, and it was very ambiguous. It is a mountain range. There is smoke coming off it because there's a fire on the mountain. There's a telephone pole and some cut grass or wheat, whatever it happens to be, in the foreground. It took a long time on this one. So it took 4 minutes and 6 seconds. And it went back and forth, and it zoomed in and it zoomed out, and it looked at bits, and it looked at the mountain range, and it actually compared parts of the mountain range, not the whole mountain range, and all sorts of things. Eventually it said it thought it was in the Canterbury Plains, South Island, and why it fits. golden stubble patterns, shelter belt pines, the gravel road, power pole. If it wasn't snapped in Canterbury, it's somewhere very similar. It wasn't anywhere near there. It was actually in the Grampians Mountains in Victoria, Australia. So I told it that because I thought it's fair to train it, seeing as it's playing games with me. And I thought for 6 seconds and it said, oh, yes, okay, it gets it now. So then I decided to take this picture here, which is a field with a tractor rolling up some hay into bales. So from my perspective, I felt this was very indicative of all sorts of farms. I've seen this all over the world, and it's a practice that's carried on plenty of places. But it actually said my best guess is a hayfield in the south central United States near Oklahoma or western Arkansas. And why it looks that way, it went through all the visual cues: cut hay in long windrows, round bales in the distance, John Deere tractor, gentle rolling hills, etc. So it actually gave really good reasons why I thought it was there. And it was quite right. It was in Missouri in the States. So it was in that central west belt. And not a bad effort, considering there's not much in here to actually give it away. John Deere tractors are available all around the world. So it's not perfect, but it is very good at playing this game. Now, the last thing I thought I would do, and I'll show you a couple of other ideas based on why this is important to a business, is I took this picture and it did not have any description telling me where it actually was. I have no idea where that shot was. So I asked, where am I standing to see this? And within 28 seconds, it told me I'm in San Francisco's Union Square district, standing southeast corner of O'Farrell Street and Powell Street, looking north uphill along Powell towards Nob Hill. Wow. It's picked up on a few things: the Art Deco building, the Starbucks sign, the cable car runs down the center of the street. It's had its clues that it's used. So totally impressed. I had no idea where it was. I did see the train tracks or cable car tracks, but then there's all sorts of cities that have trams and trains and cable cars and all sorts of things running down the middle of them. I then decided to ask what this could be used for in normal day-to-day. And it was talking about authenticity checks, faster tagging, richer storytelling, operational insight, memory aids. They're great things, but for me, what's the real life uses? And it's like, where was this shot? A social post. So you can play games with your social followers and they can guess it, and then you can find out where it is using ChatGPT. Bulk geotagging for SEO. This one caught my eye. Upload a folder of untagged venue photos and run them through the API in batches. So using the back end of ChatGPT, and it can return place names with your image alt text attached. Podcast travel segments, research, course content, authenticity, obviously, and lost property. If someone finds a camera card, upload a sample image and it can return where it was last used, making it easier to locate the owner. So remember, when you're using ChatGPT or any LLM, you can ask, why is this useful to me? Why is this going to help me? How can I use this in my business? And give it an example of your business. But I thought it reminded me of an app where you actually upload the food and it works out based on the picture what the nutrients are in the food. So it's for tracking your food intake for bodybuilders or health people, whatever they want to do. I thought, oh, I wonder if this will do that. So I uploaded this picture of a cupcake. That's quite a nice cupcake. And I asked it to give me the nutritional breakdown of the image. And it said to me, there is a ballpark estimate for standard homemade vanilla cupcakes, around 55 grams with buttercream frosting and light sprinkles. Very similar to the photo. So while it can't tell exactly what's in there, it can guess, and I think it's a pretty fair guess, to be honest. And it's giving me the calories. So it's saying per cupcake, 290 kilocalories, 2 to 3 grams of protein, 10 to 14 grams of fat. Now, it's obviously in grams and kilograms because I'm in Australia and we talk in metric. Carbohydrates, sugar, and fiber, which is great. And then here's your daily percentage of what you need. So it's saying protein 2 to 3 grams, which is less than 1% of your daily intake. But on the other hand, if you look at saturated fats, it's 25 to 35% of what you need per day. And it gives you a little bit of an explanation of what's going to affect those numbers, such as size and the thickness and the sprinkles and the ingredient swaps, where people swap one thing in for another. So might switch, say, white flour for some sort of other flour. and some practical tips, but that doesn't really apply to this image because I'm not asking for dietary tips. So let's push this a little further. Can you tell me the nutritional breakdown of this image, which is on the average size dinner plate? So it's a picture of steak and salad with some mushrooms. Pretty straightforward, isn't it? Let's click on that and I'll show you that picture so you can see it properly. And there you go. You can see the mushrooms, you can see the spinach leaves and the steak with the fork stuck in it. Okay, rough amount, 200-gram cooked pepper crusted steak, 1 cup of grilled mushrooms, 1 handful of baby spinach, half a tablespoon of olive oil dressing. 50 to 60 grams of protein, which is 100% of a 60-gram goal for a 2,000 kilocalorie day. Carbohydrate 4 to 6 grams, so less than 2%, so very low in carbohydrates, high in proteins. Fiber, less than 1 gram. So pretty impressive, all things considered. It's only a photo of a steak on a plate. And then it gives us all the bits and pieces about what affects the actual image explanation and what it assumes and all sorts of things. So that worked really well. But let me show you how it works live. So I have a picture here down of a sliced and the whole thing. Let's see if you can understand what I mean when I say the whole thing. Here we go. So it's a slice of cheesecake for anyone who didn't recognize it straight away. And a nice big cheesecake, so a New York cheesecake would probably be the best description of it. Now thinking, there we go, treat yourself wisely, knowing the numbers helped you enjoy. And there we go, it's broken it down. Now it hasn't laid it out in a table like it did before. And that makes it hard to read, so let's just make it easier to read. Can you lay that out? Table like others. And here we go. So we have 1 slice whole cheesecake. We can see protein 9 grams, 108 grams. So it's assuming that there is more than 1 slice in a whole cake, which is probably a good assumption to make. There's 46 grams of carbohydrate in one and 21 grams of saturated fat. So it is sliced based on cutting the cake into 12 pieces, approximately 165 grams per slice. So you can see that this is really powerful. And if you are thinking ahead from a business perspective, there is the opportunity to use this in apps for identifying things. You may go down one stream, identify pieces of sporting equipment, or the dietary type one, which we've already seen done using AI, but there's 1,000 different applications for this. You can make children's games, identify the animal, and they take a photo of the animal. Whatever it is, it opens up a lot of possibilities. And of course, there's identifying places. So you might develop an app that actually reclassifies people's photos for them. It's interesting, and it's good to know that it exists. It's a great new feature, and I hope you enjoy playing with it. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you in the next video.